Battlefield data miner Temporal released new map info for Battlefield 2042. Call of Duty may skip its first annual release since 2004. From Software's Elden Ring smashes records, and much more on This Week in Gaming. Battlefield data miner Temporal shared new findings from Battlefield 2042 on Twitter. He posted a new higher resolution look at the game's potential first new map, Exposure, as well as several Christmas-themed skins for different specialists, weapons, and the Bolt. Of course, like with any information or items extracted from game files, its existence doesn't necessarily mean that it will be made available to players. And before we get into the rest of today's stories, here's a quick word from today's sponsor. Chances are you've been looking to upgrade your PC but haven't been able to find key components at a reasonable price for months. The good news is today's sponsor Origin PC and Nvidia have teamed up to offer pre-built PCs with solid hardware at reasonable prices. Origin PC is dedicated to offering gamers, PC enthusiasts, and professionals the best hardware for the job. They sell an array of ready-to-ship PCs with the hardware that you'll need right now. Origin also offers stellar customer service 24/7 for the life of your build. Use my link below to check them out and order a PC fit for your needs today. And even if you don't snag that crazy high-end GPU that you want, well, Nvidia offers two key technologies available in most of their GPUs that will massively boost your performance. DLSS is an AI-accelerated upscaler that runs on Nvidia RTX GPUs. It gives you a huge performance boost without negatively impacting visuals. You can potentially see even double the performance with DLSS enabled at 4K resolution. Nvidia Reflex reduces the render latency by giving the game more direct access to your GPU. And while DLSS requires an RTX 20 or 30 series GPU, Reflex can run on anything from the GTX 900 series GPUs and up. You also don't even need a G-Sync display. With DLSS and Reflex both enabled, you can expect a much smoother gameplay experience without any visual downgrades in any game that offers them. Once again, a huge thank you to Origin and Nvidia for sponsoring today's video. Check out the link below to order your ready-to-ship Origin PC today. Alright, back to 2042 data mining. The Exposure map appears to feature a massive secret research facility built into the Canadian mountainside. According to EA's in-game description of the map found by Temporal, it takes map design to a whole new level. Based on the concept art at least, fans speculate this new map may be a spiritual successor to Battlefield 3's beloved Datamined Peak, featuring the incredible base jump. Unfortunately though, EA has already confirmed that content for Battlefield 2042 isn't arriving until at least this summer, so who knows if or when we'll see this Exposure map in action. But even then, it needs to be asked, is this map in particular even something that fans really want? There has been a huge community outcry for more infantry-focused maps since Battlefield 2042 launched, as most, if not all of the base game's offerings are massive and wide open with very little cover. This leaves infantry players open to constant vehicle harassment. From the look of this Exposure map, I fear it could just be more of the same. When designing Battlefield maps, the aim should be to create an environment that perfectly blends both playstyles, having open spaces with limited cover for vehicle combat while also catering to infantry players with infantry-only areas. Fantastic examples of this could be Rotterdam from Battlefield 5 or Amiens from Battlefield 1. Both maps offer engaging infantry-only areas while also leaving space for vehicle players. Now, the new skins found by Temporal have been more well received by players compared to Christmas Boris skins that was leaked at the end of last year, which saw a massive backlash. By contrast, many fans are actually in favor of these additions, like the weapon camos for the VCAR, SVK, and AK-12. Hidden player card options were also linked by Temporal, which makes you wonder how much content is actually hidden in-game. Lead Battlefield community manager Adam Freeman shared on Twitter that further communication about the current state of Battlefield 2042 will be released sometime next week. Right now, DICE are hoping to share more information on Wednesday, but Freeman will confirm this on Monday. In a blog post, Battlefield mobile developers Industrial Toys updated players on the current state of the upcoming free-to-play title set to launch later this year. Players on Android devices in India can obtain a first-come, first-served slot in a closed alpha test hosted next week. The game is built from the ground up on mobile devices, meaning it'll not feature cross-play with other platforms. Next week's playtest will offer for Conquest and Team Deathmatch on a reimagined version of Battlefield 3's Grand Bazaar map. Developers have confirmed that while the next playtest is restricted to players in India as development continues, more and more regions will be added until the game formally launches later in 2022. This week's Battlefield 2042 weekly mission has been disabled due to the current events unfolding in Ukraine. This week's mission unlocked a new cosmetic skin for the Russian attack helicopter, which needless to say is, well, really bad timing for what's going on right now. Unfortunately, game changes like this are typically locked in place long before they go live, and removing them takes time too. Players who already unlock this new cosmetic will be able to keep it though. New Amazon Prime gaming cosmetic items have been made available to Battlefield 2042 players. Included in this month's drop are skins for the Casper Specialist, the PKP LMG, and Nightbird helicopter. Players can obtain these items by linking their Amazon accounts. Call of Duty's release cycle may see its first change in nearly 20 years of launches. A report from Bloomberg indicates that the franchise could be skipping the main title release in 2023. If this is the case, it would be the first year since 2004 that a mainline Call of Duty title hasn't been published. Not only could this alleviate a lot of the pressure put on developers who are tasked with churning out a new game annually, it may also provide ample breathing room for this year's Modern Warfare sequel. And let's not forget the highly anticipated Warzone 2, which is also scheduled to go live sometime next year. An Activision spokesperson responded to these reports, stating that the studios have an exciting slate of premium and free-to-play Call of Duty experiences for this year, next year, and beyond. Of course, what these free-to-play entries are is unknown, but some fans have speculated that a spin-off Zombies game could ship in 2023 instead. This would corroborate what leaker Tom Henderson said on Twitter last February. Regardless, this change in direction for FPS genre's biggest and most profitable franchise will surely have ripple effects across the industry. Call of Duty games regularly top annual sales charts with more than 400 million units sold since the series began in 2003. This is despite Activision sales expectations not being met in recent years, even by the latest launch of Vanguard. It'll be interesting to see the effect that this has on the industry and other games within the FPS genre. Maybe more studios will follow suit, pushing their releases until they're ready instead of favoring the holiday season. Sony shared a first look at their new PSVR headset, which features major hardware improvements and a much slimmer, lighter design. This second-generation headset features a new vent to disperse heat generation, which also stops the lens from fogging up while gaming. Sony outlined that they have paid close attention to the ergonomics of the headset to ensure it's comfortable to wear over very long periods of time. The original PSVR revolutionized VR headset design by incorporating rigid weight distribution instead of the typical elastic bands most headsets at the time used. So Sony definitely knows what they're doing when it comes to comfort. In terms of specs, the PSVR 2 boasts an improved 4K HDR OLED display over the last gen's 1080p screen. The frame rates offered with the new model are also much improved. It'll be able to refresh at both 90 and 120 Hz, which will result in a much more fluid gaming experience. The PSVR 2 headset is expected to release later this year, provided that the worldwide chip shortage has been remedied to some degree. PlayStation's Game Pass competitor, codenamed Project Spartacus, is also expected to be detailed very soon. In December of last year, Bloomberg reported that Sony was working on their own version of the Xbox Game Pass with a launch target date of next spring. Elden Ring, the highly anticipated skill-based action RPG, has finally launched and is already receiving massive praise from fans and critics, with flawless scores across the board, making it the highest-rated title of all time on OpenCritic. Its day one stats are simply insane as well, with more than 900,000 concurrent viewers watching on Twitch and a peak player count of 765,000 on Steam. It has easily beaten From Software's previous record holder Dark Souls 3, which peaked at 130,000 players on Steam and 276,000 viewers on Twitch. The game's day one patch also released shortly after launch, which addressed numerous performance issues players were experiencing, mainly on PC. Some severe stuttering and FPS drops, commonly attributed to a memory leak. Elden Ring's publisher, Bandai Namco, has since issued a public statement acknowledging the performance issues and has apologized for any inconvenience caused. Some of the biggest problems the developers are focused on include mouse sensitivity values on PC being far too sensitive for players, PlayStation 5 controls randomly powering down when in-game, corrupted save game data, and easy anti-cheat failing to launch. Work on a patch to address these problems is already underway, but until it's finalized, the developers recommend rebooting the game regularly to avoid data loss. Looter shooter and Moon Wizard MMO Destiny 2's long-awaited Witch Queen expansion shipped this week and has been well received by fans, though things didn't go smoothly for the PlayStation 4 players who were forced to wait considerably longer than everyone else. Unfortunately, players were unable to preload the content before it went live, resulting in extended queue times to even download the 72GB update. Despite this, many fans are praising the expansion's narrative, direction, and thoughtful execution. Valve announced significant changes to their discount policy. As of March 28th, the discount cooldown period and discount amounts will be revised. Developers and publishers will no longer be able to discount their products by more than 90% or less than 10%. On the surface, this might not seem like a consumer-friendly decision, but digging deeper, this change could improve two key areas. It'll stop publishers from abusing the store's algorithm, which can be tricked to unfairly promote a game when it goes on sale, even if the sale price is only slightly lower than retail. On top of that, sometimes publishers will increase a game's retail price only to then put it on sale for the original price, making it seem like a good deal for unaware users. Whether or not this policy change will actually improve things remains to be seen. We will find out when the update rolls out in late March. The Steam Next Fest is also underway this week, shining the spotlight on hundreds of free demos and developer live streams. With so many games on offer, here's a few to try out before the event concludes tomorrow. Boundary, a new tactical FPS where you assume the role of Astro operators in deadly zero-G battles in the vastness of space. You can see it in action here on my channel in the video linked below. And Ixion, a new sci-fi city builder from the Warhammer 40k developers at Bulwark. Players will be able to build their own city, go on quests, hunt for resources, and explore the massive game world. Before we cover today's final topic, we would love to hear what you have to say about Battlefield 2042's Datamined content and what you'd like to see from the new exposure map. Are you hoping that it's a one-to-one remake of Battlefield 3's Damavan Peak, or would you prefer something completely new? Let us know in the comments below. EA may drop the FIFA soccer license on their sports lineup of gaming experiences, as shared by CEO Andrew Wilson during an internal meeting. The costly FIFA license has apparently become an impediment to EA's ambitions for the game series. According to Wilson, it restricts EA's ability to expand the game's offering each year, and that the only value of this deal is 4 letters on the front of the box. Many fans would certainly agree with this sentiment, as the FIFA franchise changes only very slightly with each release. Who knows what sort of experiences EA could offer if they had full artistic control over the series' direction. And that wraps it up for this week in gaming. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you next time. This is Level Cap, signing off.